I'm just leaving a broker's open for a home listed in Boynton Beach for $2.6 million. So I left church to head down here to the broker's open, and church today was about relationships. And on my way down, I started feeling like I needed to talk about wealth building. And wealth building is one thing, but then it really hit me how important your relationships are within your capacity to build wealth. And I know for a lot of us, our first introduction into money is in our youth, but it's based on whatever our parents have the ability to give us. So if your parents had a little money, maybe you saw them buy things, buy cars. If your parents didn't have money, your family didn't have money, then maybe you were like me and you saw food stamps in Section 8, which is what I was primarily surrounded by, in my youth, as far as the people who were in my life that could have taught me something about my financing and just being even just comfortable, not even wealthy, just being able to pay my bills on time. I didn't have a circle of people in my youth that could have given me any insight, any knowledge from that perspective, because they weren't there. So for a lot of us, I think we don't have a foundation from a financial aspect simply because we could only get what our parents and close family members had to give us, which maybe was not much. And so now in adulthood, you start learning about finances, and now maybe you have a job and you have a paycheck coming in. And I know for me, I had a paycheck coming in and I was in the Army. So my first time off by myself, and I got a couple dollars in the bank account, and I'm spending it. And everybody around me, we're in the same boat. We've never had any money before either, so we're all spending it. We don't have anyone in our circle who's able to say, hey, listen, why don't you save? Or maybe you should invest in this type of car as opposed to buying something brand new off the lot that you can't actually afford. Like we didn't have that mindset, and nobody within my circle at that time had that mindset. We were living, we had money coming in, we had checks. I learned how to write a check as an adult, and I learned how to bounce checks as an adult too. I was very good at that. Fort Riley, I probably still owe some businesses in Fort Riley some money right now, because baby, if I had 50 checks in that book, I was supposed to use them. And then it went from the bounce checks to the payday advances. And it really took me getting pregnant and having my son to kind of open my eyes up as to, okay, you got to have some discipline when it comes to money, because you got to have enough money to get formula. You got to have enough money to pay your rent. You got to have enough money to get these diapers and everything else that your child needs. So you got to do a little better than what you're doing. So leaving Fort Riley and then moving to Florida, to Lake Worth, with my son's family. But now I'm with people who are buying houses and they have, regular 9-to-5s, and I see growth. I see what it means to actually save, have a down payment, buy a house. So now I have relationships with people who can teach me more about how to manage my finances, and can teach me about the home buying process, and having a savings account and having an emergency fund, where otherwise I hadn't been introduced to those aspects and didn't have the mindset for it. Now some people, they have the ability to kind of learn on their own and maybe see what other people are doing and mimic it. I wasn't that girl. You had to tell me what to do. And more now, what I will do is follow direction. But at that time and at that age, because you're looking at, I was pregnant at 18. I didn't have the mindset for, being financially independent. And so being in a different household with people who had a little bit more to offer me from that vantage point gave me an expanded knowledge of, okay, maybe there's some other things that I need to be aspiring to besides just being able to survive. Because for me, in my early adulthood, surviving was amazing. Surviving meant I had something to eat, I had clothes, and I was content with that. I didn't have aspirations for anything more, because just having those basic needs, like, I was appreciative of. And I still, for anybody who's just at that level, be appreciative of that. But it doesn't mean that that's a level that you have to stay at. But you do need to evaluate the circle that you have in helping you to cultivate maybe some things within yourself that you didn't even know were possible. So within my family, I have a couple family members who are, listen, my ride or die. They believe that I can do any and everything, and they are my cheerleaders, and they will have my back no matter what. If I could call my cousin Leah right now and be like, Leah, you know what? I'm going to go, and I'm going to go to this pool, and I'm going to walk on the water. And she'd be like, go, cuz, go. Cousin, you can do it, cousin. That's what she's going to do, because that's what she does for me. Is she pours into me. She's my cheerleader. Even if I don't have the energy to continue on, she has it for me. My Aunt Mona, I can call her, say I want to do something, she's going to cheer me on, and then she's going to lay down a prayer so hard that it really just could make the ground shake. I'm positive that when she prays for me, it wakes God up, like, oh, I know she's still there. I got her covered. I still got her covered. You know, my mom, she's always going to have my back. She's always going to be there for me. My brother, same thing. They want to see me win. They want to see me win. I have a handful of friends in my life who I know not only do they want to see me win, they will help me win. They will be there for me. They will pray for me. And we're looking to have reciprocal relationships, and we do it for each other. I've had friends who maybe that wasn't the case. Or maybe, yes, I want to see you win, but I want to see you win and I want to win at the same time. And maybe our seasons don't align like that. Maybe you're winning and now I want to supersede you. I want to be in competition, when that's not what true friendship is. And I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm in competition with myself. Like, I am pushing every day, day in and day out, to be better than I was yesterday. That's the only person that I'm in competition with. The only person I'm trying to please is God Almighty. I want Him to be pleased with everything that it is that I do and everything that I produce. So I've had friends in my life who maybe needed to be in a different category. I've had intimate relationships. I've had people I've dated, courting, as somebody said on another video that I had up, that really didn't deserve the space that I gave them for a number of reasons. And I realized that I saw in a video maybe a couple days ago where the guy was saying, listen, ladies, don't get a man and think that you're going to take all the issues that he has and you're going to turn his life around and you're going to bring him up to your standard. Because what's going to happen is he's going to pull you down to his. And the angst that he has, the financial problems that he has, the drama he has, all become yours. And that has been really, really true to the point in a lot of the relationships that I have, because my personality is inherently positive. It's inherently we can do it. It's inherently, things are going to be okay. It's inherently that I want to help. I want to help where I can. But I had to learn that in helping, I could be hurting myself. Before helping, that I needed to seek guidance from God to make sure, listen, is this in alignment with what you want? Do you want me to help this person? Because I have been placed in financial deficits because I wanted to help. And I realized that it wasn't a genuine enough place for me to have helped when I really should have been walking away. I've had relationships where it really, in hindsight, I could see that there were people who were using me for the people that I know, who know how to do this, who know how to do that, and they'll give you a discount because you're a friend of mine, and people who were really just more interested in my resources, and that's in friendships and partnerships and, you know, relationships, where the sole purpose that I served for that person in that point in time was truly to be an asset, not a partner, not a helpmate, not a friend. It was to provide in one manner or another. And again, there was no reciprocity. Or the reciprocity that I got was me giving a mile and them giving 10 feet, and then me being okay with the 10 feet. Me feeling like the 10 feet was an effort. It was an attempt to help. But they're going through this, or they're going through that. And so now I rationalize why it's only 10 feet and not a mile, and not even a half a mile. So the relationships that we have are so important when it comes to what it is that your goals are, because there were times where I put my goals on hold because I wanted to help him, and it was the wrong him that I was looking to. And that him was really all about self, because at the end of the day, I realized that if a man hasn't found his purpose in life, or he knows what it is that he wants to do or where he wants to go, and he hasn't attained it, then there's only so much that I can do, because I can't help you figure out who it is that you are. That's something that you as a man have to figure out on your own. But here I am pouring into you, and I'm leaving myself barren. It's just the reality of what the situations have been. And ultimately, I have sacrificed of myself, where those sacrifices should have been going towards my future, my goals, my creating generational wealth for my children, and my efforts were lost in an abyss, because what I can tell you is that of all of the people that I assisted, some of them did come up, and some of them are still exactly where they were when I was pouring into them. So your relationships have to be evaluated. And in church, they were talking about how, I think it was Proverbs, and it was saying how everyone is a friend to the person who gives gifts. And I felt that to my core, because I do know those people who I felt like as long as I was doing for them, then everything was good. And everything was, you know, honky-dory. We were okay. We're good. As long as I'm giving and giving and giving of myself. But meanwhile, I'm not being poured back into. And as soon as I stop, or as soon as they feel like I haven't done enough, now you're thrown to the wayside, because how dare you all of a sudden not show up for me? How dare you? Even though you've shown up for me 20 other times, how dare you not do this one? And me really realizing that I need to pay attention to the people who are ready to discard me after the one or after the two. Because for me as a person, I am so loyal, and I believe in helping people win, seeing people win, giving encouragement, and the understanding that everybody is not me is one of those things that I really just had to allow myself to learn. And for anybody in a space where you know you're dealing with people who maybe are only there for what it is that you can provide, and that's male or female, because I've had men who were this way, I've had females who were this way, I have people right now who are simply in my face because they believe that I can put them on. What they don't see is the sleepless nights that I have, the tossing and turning that I have, that I put a mouth guard on every night because I'm grinding my teeth because of the stressors that I deal with day in and day out, trying to always strategize and make sure that, you know, I'm showing up for the people who I do need to show up for, while also maintaining the businesses that I'm cultivating and making sure that the other people who I have relationships with know that I'm there. And it is a lot. It's a lot, but it's worth it, because those people, the ones who are meant to be in my life, and those people who do have reciprocal relationship with me, and those people who I am bound to care for, my children, I'm bound to care for them. That is where my energy needs to go. Not with the people who are only in it for what I can do, what I can provide, and or they want to, you know, look at my social media. They're not gonna hit the like button. They're not gonna heart nothing. They're not gonna comment, you know, but they're watching. Those aren't the people who I need to be pouring into. And sometimes I really do have to catch myself, because I do have that complex where I always want to be of assistance, and really come into a place where I understand that I don't have to help everybody. I am not a superwoman, and everybody and everybody's problems are not my responsibility. That in itself has been life-changing for me, because now the burdens that I was bearing that were not mine to bear, I can simply say, I'm going to pray for you and your situation. I can be at peace with that, and I can move on. Because for a long time, even up until last year, if you were going through something and I felt like I could provide for you, or I maybe could ease your burden a little bit, I would feel guilty for not doing that, not realizing that, one, if God didn't send me to go and hand out my bank account to anybody, because I had to pray on one situation, and the answer that God gave me was, I didn't tell you to do that. Now you want me to fix it, but I didn't tell you to do it in the first place. So when I talk about wealth building and relationships, it really is something that you have to evaluate from every angle, because there are so many different relationships that we deal with, whether it is with your family or your friends or your partners or your coworkers or your church family. All of these different relationships weigh in on your day-to-day, weigh in on your spiritual and your mental and your physical health. Like, I know there's probably some people out there who have a coworker that they just drain you. They drain you. There are coworkers I've had in a number of different capacities that all they know how to do is complain. And what I had to learn was say, baby, you complain about the same thing that you were complaining about yesterday. So when you got something new to talk about, then come on, I'm here for you. But all of that old stuff, no. Now my ride or dies, they can talk to me about the same problem 1,000 times over, and I'm gonna be there to listen. But this person who is only here to complain to me, and then they're gonna turn around and go to the next person and drain them, and the next person and drain them, and the next person and drain them, and that's their MO. I don't have to open myself up for that, because now I've spent so much of my emotional energy on these people who are completely unfazed, and now I'm carrying all of that weight home. And I'm an empath to my core. Like, I feel it. I can feel it from a mile away that you are going through, and I feel for you. And I've just had to learn that, listen, I can pray for you and keep it moving, and not have to carry the weight of your burdens home with me. And now I'm trying to interact with my children. Now I'm short-tempered with them because I've been carrying all your junk all day long, and now I'm exhausted, and I don't have the energy when they want to talk to me about what's going wrong at school. So for those of you, because I've had a number of conversations with people who are on their wealth building journey, and we're in a day and age where we are not our mothers and fathers mothers and our grandmothers and our grandfathers. We have access to the information now. Now we know better, and a lot of us are in the making for doing better, and we're at different levels, and that's okay. But for you, wherever it is on your journey, whether you feel like you've made it to where you want to be, or whether you are just making the baby steps to get started, I want you to make sure that you are evaluating the people around you, evaluating the relationships that you build, because those relationships can really determine if you get where you want to go and how long it takes you to get where you want to go. Because there's a difference between having somebody who's a cheerleader in your corner, and don't believe that just because somebody's laying in your bed that they're cheering for you, that they're rooting for you. And once you've identified that maybe this ain't it, having that discernment to either have the conversation and be transparent, or if need be, transition to a bed alone. So at the end of the day, it's all about you having the heart to push towards what it is that you want. And a big part of that is going to be your circle and going to be your networking, because I just left, like I said, that listing for $2.6 million. I would say that my circle might be doing a little something. I would say that my circle might be a little different. I would say that my circle has changed from last year to this year. And it's all with growth. The difference comes in with me having the ability to pull other people up with me as I continue to grow and as I continue to learn. They're pulling me up, I'm pulling them up. We're on this journey together. But you do have to recognize those people who are not on the journey with you. You need to recognize those people who are really trying to push you down while they push themselves up. It's unfortunate, but it is the reality of the world that we live in. And I think for me, one of the hardest things to really, really put a handle on is feeling obligated to be there for people around me in a time and space where God is telling me that I'm supposed to be focusing on myself, and He's going to send someone to help and pour into me, as opposed to it always being the other way around. And I can say that He's absolutely done that, and I've been blessed to have people in my life who pour into me, who push me forward, and have continued to gain new people who pour into me and push me forward and want to see me win just as much as I want to see them win. I have people in my life, in all honesty, that I think they want to see me win more than I want to see myself win. And that's where you're in the right circle. You're in the right space. You have the right people aligned with you. And it also means that if I lose it all tomorrow, those same people will be there to help me pick up the pieces and start all over, and pray for me and fast with me and build with me as I get back to where I once was. Because I understand more than a lot of people what it means to really just lose everything and want to lose hope, and then have a circle around you that won't let you. And it's that same type of friend, it's that same type of ally that I want to be for those people as well. So if it's their time of need, or if they just need a word spoken to them, or if they need prayer, because sometimes I'm praying for my friends and they have no idea. I don't need to make an announcement that I'm praying for you, to pray for you. I don't need recognition. What I need to do is make sure that I'm honoring God in every step of the way in everything that I'm doing. And when I falter, which I do because I'm human, I'm not perfect, to have the humility to repent and ask God for wisdom and guidance, apologize where I need to apologize, and take accountability where I need to take accountability, because that's what He has directed me to, and what I pray that I can continue to do for the rest of my life. I want to be what He wants me to be for the rest of my life. And whatever that means is God's will. And there's nothing to question. If I could leave you with anything, is ask God for the discernment to identify the people who He has placed in your life and the people who need to be removed. And it's guaranteed that it's going to be some people removed that you don't want. You don't want to be. You don't want to be like, Lord, nah, wait, I want to hold on to this one. I want to hold on to this one. You might have to pry your hands off, but trust that it's for your benefit. Okay, that's my TED Talk for today.